Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Famous Chefs of St. George. I'm Judy.
And I'm Kim, and we've been cooking together for 53 years.
Well, this is our second season of Famous Chefs, where we are focusing on just desserts. And we are bringing you fabulous desserts that we think when you make them at home will seem like you just graduated from culinary school.
That's for sure. And today we're going to make what I call a celebrity dessert. I call it that because it comes from a region in Italy where George Clooney, Richard Branson, and Sting all have their homes. Do you happen to know what region that is?
I certainly do, because that's where we spent part of our honeymoon a long time ago. Lake Maggiore and Lake Como in the Piedmont district, correct?
That's exactly right.
And I do have great memories of that place.
And so do I. And so today we're going to make a memorable dessert too, which is Panna Cotta.
Panna Cotta.
Panna Cotta. I think I'm getting better at that.
You are.
And that comes from the Piedmont region of Italy, which is very lush and is well known for its truffles and its chocolates.
Well, we are thrilled to welcome Chef Jackie from Harmons Cooking School in Santa Clara, where she has been since it opened 7 years ago. And we will be right back. And when we do come back, we will welcome Chef Jackie to our show. Welcome back, everyone. We have Chef Jackie with us from Harmons, and he's going to teach us to do what, Jackie?
Today we're going to make Panna Cotta.
Okay.
You say that pretty well.
Well,
Have you had any practice?
little practice and I've been there a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, you told us you did a lot of cooking in Italy, training.
I did, and we are going to make a really gourmet Panna Cotta in the fact that it has delicious chocolate on the bottom, caramel popcorn, and peanuts.
Wow.
And so you could add your own topping, but we're gonna zhuzh ours up.
Yeah, that's why he calls it radical.
That's why we call it radical Panna Cotta. So, just before we start, I know you told me a little bit about your background and how you've been involved with food and your family since you're a little girl.
Yes, I'm from Grand Junction, and my family is German, and so we'd wake up and what's for breakfast, what should we make for lunch, and then go right on into dinner. And that was kind of when we call each other as adults, what are you cooking? And all our kids make German noodles. We were talking about pasta earlier, and so our life kind of revolved around food.
So
Excuse me, can I ask you a question? What are German noodles?
They're the same as Italian. So
that
I
eggs
just
in them?
instead of yes,
So you're a food-forward family.
a food-forward
cool.
family. I like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Okay, so show
Let's
us what
begin.
we do.
Okay. Do you want us to start?
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's begin.
Okay. So we are going to start with our chocolate ganache.
Yum.
And before we do that, some of my suggestions for cooking are to mise en place your recipe. And by that I mean have everything ready before you start. So when you're in the middle of it, you're not looking for the heavy cream, or you don't have enough, or you have low-fat milk instead of full-fat milk. And I like to even have my tools that I'm using out. And so for this recipe, we'll use a whisk, a nice spatula, a microplane. I'm going to show you how to do a little piping. And we can either use a liquid measuring cup for the chocolate to put in our little vessels, or we can use a funnel dispenser. I know most of you probably don't have a funnel
I've
dispenser.
never seen one before.
Well, they're pretty handy dandy. If you're doing something really nice and you don't have quite a steady hand, they're super simple because they put that product right down in the middle of the vessel.
Sounds good.
So, so we're going to start by me figuring out which burn. There we go. So we want to bring, this is 8 ounces, so 1 cup of heavy cream, and I have 8 ounces of chocolate. Any kind of chocolate will work. We used the guitard.
Dark
Kim, you wanna
chocolate,
show
right?
'em? Yeah. The guitard semi-sweet. I think it's 48% cacao.
Those of you who were here, remember we use that in our chocolate cake, our flourless chocolate cake too.
we use 60%. So if you want it to be a little less sweet, and you'll get to taste it in a little while, then use a little stronger, darker chocolate. That's all. Yeah.
So we're going to bring our heavy cream to a simmer, and we have mise en place our chocolate chips. You could use milk. The last time I made this, Harmons sells a gourmet chocolate called Valrhona from Switzerland. It's delicious, and it's one of my favorites. This is nice though because we may have this at home. We might have Ghirardelli chocolate or even Hershey's chocolate. So whatever you like, it'll work. It's kind
Excuse
of
me,
the
when you said milk, you mean milk chocolate?
milk chocolate, yeah. Whatever your favorite is or whatever you have on hand will go in the base. And this dessert I like to call sweet endings because at the very bottom of the panna cotta will be this delicious chocolate base. So,
Surprise. Huh?
yeah, surprise.
Okay, it looks like it's starting to
It's
simmer.
simmering. So simmering means small bubbles around the edges. I'm gonna let it get just a little bit
You asked
warmer.
me that the other day.
I did.
So this is called, when you make this, is called chocolate ganache. And you can use it for many things. You can use it as a chocolate topping over eclairs, over cakes. It's just a really fun product to keep in your fridge. It'll last for weeks.
Really?
And you could slowly reheat it and use it again. So you can see I have small bubbles there.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to pour that over my chocolate. There we go. We're just going to let this sit a little bit, and then I'm going to take a whisk and really whisk that in and melt it. This is the fun part. Your kitchen starts smelling like a chocolate factory. Can you smell that?
Yeah,
It smells so great.
make me hungry.
So we're really, really fortunate at Harmons. They bring in probably most of the most diverse candy bars that I have ever seen. And they have one from Brazil called Juruá, and it's 76% cacao, and it's from the Brazilian rainforest. It's delicious. It would be a little bit pricey for a dessert
Yeah.
like this.
I know that,
But
that chocolate. It
yeah,
is
isn't that
pricey.
great? You just have a bite. People think you eat those whole candy bars, but
no.
it's actually just a bite in the evening. So my chocolate, this is chocolate ganache, isn't that
That was
simple?
easy, huh?
The
So
best
we're-
thing
We
about
could do that, right?
chocolate
Yeah,
ganache, I think,
yeah.
is that it sounds like something very esoteric.
Yeah, I've
you
seen
know?
recipes with that and
that's
say, no,
it.
I don't want to do that part.
I don't know how to make that,
But no,
right?
I know, yeah.
So you'll put this in the fridge.
I will do that.
Thank you. And we want to get that cooled down. It doesn't have to be all the way cool, just a little bit. And then we'll talk for a minute about what do I put it in. So you can do really fancy vessels. We, in the culinary world, call your container, your dish as a vessel. And you can use, these are from the dollar store, which is great to take to a party,
Oh, yeah.
great for Easter. You can make this dessert, and then you have a few less dishes. You can use the glass. We're using glass ones today
I'll get one
to
show
pass
them.
out. Just whatever you have. They don't have to be round. You can think outside of the box. Kim made some in a smaller vessel that's just a little bite. And so it's whatever you like. And that's one of the fun things about panna cotta. It takes shape of whatever you want.
It's versatile.
It's very versatile. And
Well,
you could layer it with colors on
My
a
neighbor
label.
who's from Italy makes it, and she makes it in one big round form, I guess.
Like a pie.
Oh,
like-
okay. Right. And then, so this type of panna cotta is the same product, but traditionally you would get that container warm, put a plate on it, tip it over, and then put your syrup on. That's the way in a restaurant you traditionally eat panna cotta. And it's beautiful. Sometimes you have a few fails, and it sticks on the sides and doesn't drop out. For my presentation and when I serve it for my company, I just like it. I like it. I don't want to go to that much trouble.
Yeah, I understand. And it tastes the same.
So it's sort of like creme brulee. What's the difference between panna cotta and creme brulee?
Creme brulee has eggs. It's an egg custard, and you bake it in a water bath. So it's a little bit more time consuming. Probably whatever you're more familiar with is tomatoes. This is Italian.
Potatoes.
Creme brulee is
panna
French, right? Panna cotta. So creme brulee has eggs cooked in a water bath, delicious custard. The brulee part is that cooked brown sugar over
Right.
the top.
With the flame. They flame
With
that.
you torch it and then take a little
Torch it.
spoon and crack it, and that's yummy. That's delicious. So our mise en place will come forward for the next part. So we will have our. Do we want to take a break?
Right,
or
right.
should
I'm
we-
just going to say, when we come back, we're going to go on with the panna cotta part. Okay? We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. Now we're going to continue with the chocolate, putting it in the cups, right?
Uh-huh.
And then we're going to make the caramel.
So this is part of your plating, and I can demonstrate it here, how you would probably do it at home with a little measuring cup. I find works best. And you want to put about an inch and a half, depends on how many you're making, how much chocolate you have.
Right.
But here's one simple way. You just want to pour that straight down the center. And I know it looks simple, but
Takes practice, I bet.
it does take a little practice. I recently had a guest that had really great pouring skills. And I said, wow, you have great eye-hand coordination. And she said, well, you know what my profession was? And I said, no, I don't know. And she said, I'm a retired FBI agent. And I said, oh, you must have great aim. So this is this tool. You can see.
Wow. Yeah.
This is great for soups.
This is if you're a professional.
It goes very fast, keeps it right in the middle. You don't mess up the sides.
Do you think they sell that in that new cooking store they have near Costco? There's a new.
Oh, no.
Does everybody know
I did
we
go
have
there.
a new professional
Right, the U.S.
cooking
Foods.
store?
Uh-huh.
Yes, you went there?
Yeah.
I did. I don't think they have it. I would say,
However, I do have a measuring cup just like that. So
right?
I'm
And
okay.
and most of us won't use this enough, but even for holidays, if you're doing soups, not in a big bowl, but a lot of people in Utah cater their own weddings, or they
I could see that used when you have soups that have two soups in one bowl,
sure.
where you would have
Well,
to use
right.
that to keep it. Yeah.
Or if you're catering, and you're doing hundreds, whatever. Anyway, you kind of get the drift here. It's lots of fun. So you can find this on a site called Webstront. They sell these, and
Webstront.
Yeah.
you don't have to. You can.
searching.
Anyone can buy on that. Okay, pretty handy, isn't it?
Terrific.
So we'll put this in the refrigerator now, Judy.
That's
if you
my job.
Thank you. And we'll get that nice and cold. So when we put our panna cotta in there, it's going to kind of sit on the top. So first we have to make our caramel sauce, and that's a heavy bottom pan. If you use a thin pan, you're more likely to burn caramel. And caramel gives me a lot of anxiety anyway. It goes from done to burned, just in a moment's time.
Gives
Today
me
it's gonna,
anxiety too, by the way, because I can't stop eating it.
Well, I have confidence in you, so don't worry.
thank
It's going to
you.
be great.
There's 3 of us up here watching it, so we
Right,
should be
right.
good.
Keep my eyes on it.
So we have 1 cup of heavy cream right next to it that we're going to put cook on low. And this takes just a few minutes. We're going to make our caramel here. That's just 1 cup of sugar, granulated sugar, and a pretty good pinch of fleur de sel. And fleur de sel Yeah, is sea salt. This is French sea salt. I love all sea salts. They add a lot of taste, flavor, crunch to whatever you're cooking. This one on its container, it comes in a big bucket, says harvested with, what did we say? Harvested, what's the French term for sexy?
I don't know.
It'll come to me.
All right, well, we're waiting for that. We want to hear that.
Yeah. So there's lots of finishing salts. Fleur de sel is also a finishing salt. And what that means is it's not that salty. It's less sodium because it's from the ocean. That water flows over what I would call gutters. And then the sun dries it out and they harvest it. There's sel de gris, which is French sea salt that's gray. There is Maldon, which is from the British Isles. And that's beautiful. It's known for its triangular shape and its pretty crunch and sheen.
When do you use that?
You could put it on top of your salads or on your steak, or this fleur de sel we're putting for just a little bit of salt flavor in our caramel. And the other salts you can use, like I said, at the end of your meal, the end of whatever you're cooking, so it just sits on top. And looks pretty. My newest favorite one, it has lemon and turmeric in it.
Oh,
So it's
like that.
yellow, it's beautiful. So we're just letting this sugar melt.
Is this what's going to burn?
Yes, this
Okay.
is not going to burn.
No,
but it's going
I
to.
shouldn't say that. That could burn, but will not.
It is going to be an amber color. I've got a nice heavy bottom pan, so it's going to take a minute to heat up. And then when this caramelizes, we add our heavy cream and it boils profusely. So you want to be careful, and that's why I want my whisk close to me so I can get that mixed in. Then this will cool down, much like the chocolate did.
Okay.
So we'll just wait here a minute. Meanwhile, we have the 1 cup of milk and 2 cups of heavy cream there. That will be the basis for the panna cotta. And then we have 3/4 a cup of milk and a tablespoon of gelatin. And we'll get that ready in a minute. And then we'll get that cooking.
So should we stop here? You want to take a break here?
This will take a minute if you want to watch it caramelize.
Yeah, I would rather. Yeah.
And then they'll see what color we're looking
It's sort
for.
of thickening up too, isn't it?
Yeah, it's sugar.
You all can see that.
When I walk through the mall and they're doing those sugared almonds, don't they make your mouth salivate?
yeah, they
The
sure
whole
do.
mall smells great.
It does.
So it's starting to melt around the edge.
see
I
that?
think you can
Yeah.
see that. My cream, I'm going to
Get it
turn
too high.
down just a little bit. Everybody's stove's a little bit different. So we want a hot liquid going in a hot liquid. And it's starting to melt. I timed this before, and start to finish was about 6 minutes, unless you're watching. If you're watching, it's going to take all day. You're going to say, why in the heck
Okay,
is that
so
not
Funny how
melting?
time slows
Let's
up.
go like this.
Right? It does slow.
Maybe the more people are watching, the
There-
slower it
the
goes
slower
too.
it's
So
going.
I'm
It's-
not watching.
It's starting.
Well, this is when cooking takes patience. Right?
It does take a little bit of patience.
Good things don't happen without some effort and time.
Lots of love.
And
So I'm just going to give that a little stir on the
oh, it does
edges.
smell good though.
Yeah, now it's starting to turn
Oh, sure
a
is.
golden color.
I guess you can all see that, right?
Can they see in here? Yeah.
They can see on the camera there.
Oh yeah.
On the monitors.
Oh, that's great. So I just met a woman named Rowena, and she markets her caramels to Harmons, and by the name of Julianne, named for 2 of her relatives, and just has turned it into a gigantic business. They're fabulous caramels, and she is a delightful lady, and has a little storefront in Sandy, and like I said, sells her caramels in Harmons, and
And you didn't bring us any.
I didn't bring you any. No, darn. And Rowena would say, "Why didn't you bring
It's
a
okay.
caramel?"
We live 3 minutes away. We'll be there right after this.
There you go. Well, I
Oh,
bought
wow.
I
There
bought
it's
a
going.
whole, so you can see it's. I don't want that heat too high. It's always fun cooking on somebody else's stove. Okay,
It looks pretty good. Just have to get it all melted.
we want it melted,
Yeah, it's not totally
but
melted.
not burned. And
That's good. Lift it off a little bit. Doesn't
now I'm
get
going to
too
use
hot.
my whisk.
It smells so good.
Doesn't that smell great? So you can see the golden color. I don't want it too light. I want a little darker golden. And now we're going to add the cream.
Okay, it didn't burn. Do you want this one on or?
You could turn that off. And you can see
Is it this one?
this is not something we would do in our kids' classes. However, it's almost summertime. And we do lots of kids' classes in the summer. We do 3 camps.
Wow.
And Panna Cotta will probably be one of the desserts we teach, minus the caramel. And one is cooking around the world, so they learn a little bit of everything from different countries. And we teach knife skills. They take a
could use
knife
that.
home. So we're
could use
just
that.
going to really mix that.
Do you teach knife schools for adults?
We do. Thank you for asking. Chef Eric actually will be on this show. I think in the fall. Is that when you're going to have
We're
him come and
talking
teach?
about it, yes.
Yeah,
Love to have him.
he is fabulous. His knife skills are really daunting and superb. And we teach knife skills once a month in our cooking classes.
I
And
need
you
to do
take
that.
all the vegetables home, and you can do whatever you like with them the next day, fajitas or stew or soup. So you can see the caramel is a nice golden color.
It's beautiful.
It's nice and smooth.
Now, if you just lay that out and let it cool, would you be making, and cut it up, you'd be making your own homemade caramel candy?
Yes, I would cook this to not quite 230 degrees. And yes, then you let it cool, and then you have that kind of fun, yummy caramel that you enjoy for caramel apples. Okay, so we'll put this in the fridge. What
Like this?
Well, let's see if we have, would you
Yes.
grab that bowl? We'll put it in the bowl. Then we want to cool this down because this
this
is
okay?
going
Is this
to,
not clean? Want me to clean
mine
bowl?
needs to be clean, yeah.
I think we can find another one.
That's great.
We have plenty of bowls here.
Okay,
Last one.
then this will cool down.
It's ready
I'll
to
move
go.
this. Yeah, thanks. Thank you. Perfect. This will, yeah, that's terrific. Ah, smells so good. Well, you're already, this is the hard part. If you get both of these down, you're good. When you make your ganache, you want everything dry, nothing with water in it. The same with your whipped cream.
I'll take it.
Is this, I don't want to burn that counter.
You can put it down. I'll take it.
Okay.
That's
we
probably
go.
better. Just leave it there.
Okay, I love all my sous chefs. Thank you.
Anytime, anytime.
Now we're on with the easy part. Okay, this is regular panna cotta. So you can just make this if you don't want to really make a bougie panna cotta, just a plain panna cotta with a raspberry.
But we're going to come back now, right? We're going to take a little break.
Raspberry coulis. Yes, we'll take a
because
break.
We
We'll
need
get
to take
that.
a break, and we'll be back in a few minutes and finish up.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back. And now Jackie is going to show us how to assemble the panna cotta.
Thank you, Judy. So I have 3/4 a cup of whole milk that I'm going to sprinkle 1 tablespoon of gelatin over, and that's what's going to help your panna cotta have some body and
Right.
solidify and give it structure. Then I have 2 cups of heavy cream and 1 cup of whole milk in here. And we're just going to get that simmering with small bubbles. I want to mix that gelatin in. Get that dissolved. And our caramels cool down. And then we have some whipped cream that's going to go on the top.
The best part.
So
Not enough calories in it already. We have to add a few more.
this is it. This is just a little bit of calorie-intense foods.
Well, they're small.
It's small.
It is small, and it's going to be a good endorphin
There,
producer.
there you go.
Yep.
So, Kim, you made the whipped cream,
Yep.
and tell me how
I
you
did.
made it.
Well, this is 2 cups of heavy cream and 4 tablespoons of sugar. And you know, I always used to use confectioner's sugar, but then we met a chef who uses granulated sugar, who says you get better stiffness out of the whipped cream by doing that. I must,
And I just say his other tip that I gave you last time was to put some ice in the bowl or put
Right.
it in the fridge to make it nice and cold. It helps to make better whipped cream.
Right, but one thing I do, since I've said that to everybody when I made whipped cream now, I put the ice in, but I spin it around like this so the ice doesn't get a chance to stick to the bowl. It still gets it cold, but you could just dump it out, because previously you couldn't do that. So there's another little tip, and also a capful basically of vanilla. I don't think you want too much because you don't want it to be flavored. But you want a little taste going in there. So, and then this time, because of Chef Jackie, we added some of this. And why don't you tell us about this?
Well, one of the other cooking school chefs, Chef Debbie, told us about this. And this is lovingly called our secret ingredient. And it's a thickener for gravies, sauces, soups. You only need about a teaspoon.
Wow.
And it will keep your heavy whipped cream solid. So if you're making this in the morning, you don't need it till the evening or later in the day. It's not dissolving. And I don't know about you, but we've made this at the cooking school, and it was a little too warm in there, and the whipped cream started to fail, to just fall. And so Chef Debbie said, oh, use this Easy Gel. And she had Harmons bring it in. We've used it for 7 years, and just love it. So no, a lot of people don't know about that product and how to use it, but without fail now, we'll make whipped cream for our classes for people to use. They may sit in the fridge an hour, so we want that whipped cream to stay together. That's what does it. So this is going to come, it's almost there. For those of you that want to know a little bit about piping, you could top your panna cotta just with a spatula and drop it on there. It's a little bit trickier, but it's totally doable.
And messier, right?
Or if you want it nice and clean and neat and a little fancy, since we're having, as Kim said, celebrity panna cotta, you know, this could be served at George Clooney's place. Or
Definitely.
so you'll take a piping bag, and you could put this in a heavy mug and pull the top down, and that's how you fill it, and that will stabilize your bag. Or, because we don't have a heavy mug here, we're just going to put our hand right underneath that and scoop this cream in there and slide it off. Oh boy, there's a lot of whipped cream. You may.
If it's left over, no
Don't worry.
concern.
Somebody.
Yeah, well, we have to take that bowl home. It's from our house.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then you can see the edges are clean, the top is clean, and now I can just scoot that heavy whipped cream down, and then you'll twist it, and then I have my tip in, and then we'll just pipe it.
Beautiful.
So you're going around in a circle?
You can do it lots of different ways. You can just do it straight
Okay.
up,
That's prettier that
whatever
way.
you like. Okay, would you like to finish that, Judy?
I would love to.
Awesome, that's the fun part. That's what you get to do in our classes.
Do it yourself, right?
Hands on. Okay, this has come to a simmer, and here's my, my whole milk and my gelatin. And I'm going to take this off the heat. And I'm going to mix, turn that off. I'm going to mix my gelatin and milk in.
So the whole milk and gelatin stays cold
Yes.
until
Yes, it
we
does.
mix it. Yeah.
That's a great
The trick with
question.
this is to keep pushing it down.
Yeah, keep sliding it down.
Otherwise it doesn't
we
come
have
out
more
fast.
whipped cream if you need.
Right, I think.
And then we're going to mix our caramel in. So, oh boy, you know this is going to be good.
It
So if you-
smells great.
If you make just plain panna cotta, you would not add the caramel. You would make it just like we did up until this point. If you want to have fun with it, you can make it, of course it would be super white. You make it this far and you pour part of it in your vessel and then you let that set and then you could color another part. I've done that at Christmas, and so I had white and red and green tiny little sliver in there.
That's a great idea.
It's really pretty.
Yes.
It takes way more time
Yeah, I'll bet.
than it should, but it's a fun way to serve it. Okay, let's put a little more cream in the bag.
Okay.
And we'll do some of these. And then we'll take, all
have
you
any
do is
mugs
take
here?
the panna cotta and pour it right in your vessel.
Would this mug work? Would this work for your mug?
You need a tall one.
Okay,
If you have a
not
tall,
you.
you could
That's it.
use, anything tall that you could pull that top over.
You want
I
to
know
hold
you're
that and
all-
I'll put some more.
everybody's
You want me to
holding
put
their
more
breath.
in there, right?
Yeah.
So we make sure
isn't
you
that much
save
left.
room on the top for the whipped cream, the peanuts.
There isn't much left.
You can also, if you're a real perfectionist,
Let's fold it
you
down
could
more.
take a little skewer and poke the air bubbles out of the foam. Most of them should settle down, but if you want it totally
I
smooth,
think
that's
that's
what I
good,
do.
Judy. Here.
So this, in this size, you can see it makes quite a bit.
Just want to do that this way.
You get some,
A little bit. There wasn't much left, actually.
Okay. Then what? From this point, this will go into the fridge, and this will set probably 2 to 3 hours. And you know it's set when you could see it looks pretty solid. You can also touch it. If you didn't add enough gelatin, calls for 1 tablespoon. That's more than 1 package, so make sure you measure. It won't set. It'll still be way too jiggly. It'll be just like Jell-O. So then once it's set, you see how to pipe the whipped cream. And then we'll add our peanuts. I'm almost there. You're hanging in with your patience.
You're doing great. It's worth waiting for, I'm sure.
Well, in several hours, I'll call you and say, how was it? It's actually really good liquid. Kim came in to visit one day, and I had just made this. He said, can I try it just as a liquid? I said, sure. It's just like drinking
Well, with those ingredients, it
Right?
doesn't matter what state it's in.
ice cream base.
It could have been a gas, and I would have liked it.
So there's still quite a bit left there, but
Yeah.
that's how you'll finish this off.
That's
This
perfect.
goes in the fridge. Let's slide this
Put this in the fridge.
here.
I'll take it.
And then we have our whipped cream and our chocolate. And you, once again, any kind of chocolate you have, I just grabbed good old Hershey bar. And any kind of microplane or grater that you have. You can even use the box graters. And I'm going to put the caramel popcorn on. These are Werther's popcorn, sure. Caramel popcorn, you could make your caramel popcorn. Some of us just don't want to put that much time into it, and some people love
do the
to make
peanuts
it
go
A
on
to Z.
top of that-
And then
that
the
again,
peanuts
mixed?
go on top.
Uh-huh.
Do we have a little plate to put this on? A little dessert plate by?
Yeah. We have plates in
Or just one and-
Dessert plate, all of them.
whatever you want to.
Yeah, just one or two would be great. Okay, this looks.
This is,
So you could do this if you were doing this for an event. Just add the popcorn and peanuts on after you take it out of the fridge. I know that's common sense, but sometimes we get in a hurry and throw it in, and then the popcorn's gone soft. The peanuts are soft.
well, that looks great. It's crying for the chocolate.
There we go.
You're crying for this one.
Kim says, I'm ready to eat. Okay, then here's our plates. Just put this.
Here.
Thank you. And then I'm just going, you don't have to do this, but it's a pretty way to plate it.
Beautiful.
Yeah, we never do that with our chocolate.
No.
Yeah. I don't know if you remember, those of you who were here a few weeks ago, I was trying to remember the word microplane. I couldn't come up with the word.
Beautiful.
We use it all the time
That
at home for our
is
Parmesan cheese.
Really beautiful.
Okay, who's ready
Great.
for dessert?
So, okay.
Well, thank you,
that's
Jackie.
great.
This was wonderful.
This
Thank
was
you.
Learned a lot of
wonderful,
little
and
tips you
How
dropped off
many
there.
of you think you could try this? We're going to try it. Great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.